video 2. In video 2, we're going to look at the second pillar of our Speak and Succeed method, our speaking and literacy link. So, you may ask, what is this speaking and literacy link? Don't people usually learn literacy when they learn how to speak a language? Actually, no. A lot of people, when they begin learning a second language, a foreign language, they're mostly concerned with wanting to speak the language. However, when you're learning Chinese, because there seems to be a strong division between what you're saying and what you're reading, that people oftentimes focus just on speaking. But I tell you, without learning how to read Chinese, it's very difficult to become comfortable, fluent in speaking Chinese. So what we do is we pair these two. How do we do it? Well, we're going to take what you say and make sure that you can read that. And it begins with pinyin, which is a romanized way to represent Chinese characters. For example, in the last video, I mentioned the word ma, and that ma is written M-A. That's pinyin. But of course, the Chinese character is going to be the Chinese character. So, why should we do this? Well, two reasons. First, it builds true comprehension. Okay, so students just don't memorize what a character looks like. They know that that character is something that they are saying, right? The characters they come alive for the student when they learn the characters along with speaking. And it also builds speed, right? When students encounter those same characters in reading, their brain recognizes them much faster because they've already said them aloud multiple times. So you're learning two things. You're engaging the brain much more quickly. You're creating that neuroplasticity. And so then when you learn more characters, you learn them more quickly. And another advantage is you get to where you can intuit a character based on recognizing other similar characters in them and knowing what they might sound like. So just to go back through our method again, we first start with the pinyin. You hear it, you say it several times, you become familiar with the sound, you internalize that sound, and then you're going to look at the character side by side with the spoken version, and that sound and that character become linked, and then finally you're going to read it, speak it, and even type it. Writing is another way to reinforce that language learning so that when you are writing, speaking, and reading, they're all three working together. The brain's pulling all three of those skills in order to produce the language, and that's going to speed up your fluency. When I first started studying Mandarin back in college, it was just focused mainly on learning vocabulary words and then thinking about how to put those vocabulary words into a sentence. But learning the words and being able to read the sentence were always separate. The second time around, after I moved to Taiwan and began learning, I was memorizing dialogues, okay? In memorizing dialogues, I'd start with the pinyin, I'd memorize that dialogue, and then I would read the dialogue in characters. Now, I'd already memorized it. I knew what the dialogue said. I knew what it was about. So reading the characters simply reinforced that character recognition, and my ability to recognize characters eclipsed in 3 months what it took me 2 years to reach in college. So this is our second pillar. We're going to move on then in the next video to the third pillar, the immersion loop.